bentornati, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Muthkarakil, the outpost, trying to resurrect the kingdom of Saxul-Zidot. We are in Dwarf Fortress 0.47.3, and now with a 100% more palisade and drawbridge. That's the word, drawbridge. That's how you call this thingy here that we called the West Gate, and this is connected to a lever or lever, depending on where you're at. That is right in here. This is our new control room, and we demonstrated that adding a task in here to pull the lever, which I won't do now, raises or draws the bridge really quickly, sailing us off from the world above. Now, not really sailing is not really the right term here. This around us is just one space high, one floor high. It's very much climbable, so there will be enemies, and goblins can climb. So if we really want to be safe, we should at some point try and build higher walls, walls built out of stone blocks that are by nature much harder to climb. And another thing that helps is having a lip going all around the wall. So for example, even in this situation, if this wall was, let's say, twice as high, then we could at the top level build a lip that goes outward all around the wall, and you can see this technique applied in pretty much all castles and medieval towers around Europe, for example. I believe those are called crenellations, and those crenellations usually sit on top of a portion of the wall that sticks outside, juts outside, and that is specifically meant to prevent people from being able to just climb on top of the walls. After that little bit of architectural history, free for you, from the Listless Onion, let's get back to work, shall we? So, where are we at? What were we doing? We have carved a nice amount of rooms for our dwarves. They're still not all furnished, but we're getting there. Let's see if all the bedroom are set up. So this, for example, we can turn into an actual bedroom and immediately assign it to somebody that still is sleeping in the dormitory, like Limul, the fish cleaner. This also can be assigned, and this will go to Ited the miner. This is of our expedition leader, Kubuk. Sleeps in here. This Mabsut room. Mistem's Id. This one is ready to be assigned. This goes to Edzul. And this one to Kikrost. So looks like for now every dwarf has an assigned bedroom. This is really good. I think I also created last time enough jobs in the job manager to cover for the amount of coffers and cabinets that I want, and most rooms, actually all rooms, already have a designated designated spot, not stop, for dwarves to actually then move furniture into. The room for the well has been carved, but not the entire space. So under the well we need a reservoir to hold the water, and then we need this is the actual depth of the reservoir, and then we need to carve out this vertical shaft in here, and this will have to go actually higher up and connect to a layer of stone that can tap into the aquifer, so that the well reservoir will get filled out of the aquifer, which basically means infinite water for us. It also means danger, because infinite water can also make it so that we just flooded the entire fortress. So that is of course cause of concern, but if my calculations are right, the water should not go higher than this level here, because in here water will flow through this diagonal gap, but cannot go higher than this, even if it comes from higher up. So diagonals do infringe on the communicating vessels law in Dwarf Fortress. In this level here we have our miners starting to carve out our stockpile spaces, and let's unpause the game so that they can carry on doing that. Why is this dwarf named Soto carrying a huge boulder from down here? So let's look at his inventory. He is holding a diorite boulder. How big is this diorite boulder? I wonder, can we actually see it? This weighs 287 whatever that thing is. These are dwarven units, dwarven weight units. We could maybe compare this, like 287 something dwarf units. How much does a rope? Or let's see, is there something that we can compare? This is a crutch. This is a willow crutch. A willow crutch weighs less than 1 weight unit. I mean, a crutch that you can use to walk surely should weigh something around 500 grams? Let's say a rope. We are doing science here. Okay, a coil of rope weighs 7 units. If this is really thick rope and is a large coil of rope, this could be 7 kilograms of rope. But I'm thinking maybe more like a half of that, because if this is like imperial units, maybe one of those units is roughly equivalent of a pound. So let's say that this is 3, then 287. It would probably be like 140 kilograms worth of stone boulder. And that dwarf, that Sodal right there, is carrying that and his copper pick at the same time. What a guy, what a dwarf. Anyway, what we should try to do is like following him around to see where he brings that boulder. Here he is. Let's try and zoom in. right? He's getting here in the workshop. This is our mason's workshop, and he's now working on that boulder. He's probably creating either a cabinet or a coffer. One thing that we can and should really do to make his work slightly easier is forcing him to understand that he has a stone stockpile, like 4 tiles to his right. In order to do that, we can look at the workshop settings and access the workshop profile, capital P. Now that we are in the profile, can we somehow restrict his selection? Work orders. Increase priority, condition, general work order are allowed. New order, remove. Can I create work orders from here? Yes, I can. Huh. That's nice. I don't have labor restrictions for some reason available. So it doesn't look like I can do it from here. I know for sure though that if I look at the actual stockpile, now in here, yes, there is give to a pile or workshop. So if I hit G now and then enter when I'm over the workshop, it says give to Mason's workshop. But I don't see it in here. Let's go in the profile again. So I'm a bit baffled. I remember this being a possibility. I was able at some point to say only get stuff from a stockpile, and it used to be visible in here, like takes from, but in here it seems to work. This pile gives to the Mason's workshop. So I guess let's unpause and let's see what Sodo does after he finishes working on that whatever he is doing. Okay, look, he's moving. Let's advance slowly. Yes, see? Now he's taking stones from the stone stockpile. So it is working. It doesn't show in the workshop interface, but it is working. And I'm also managed to find the 100% zoom level again, which is not trivial. Should we do the same for all other workshops? Because that, I mean, you would think that dwarves are able on their own to like turn around and see that there are stones in here in a stockpile, and then it stands to reason that that stockpile is there for you to grab stones from, but sometimes they just can't. Sometimes they think, hey, where are stones? Well, there are stones down here, right? But if you say explicitly, okay, this stockpile is meant to give stones from this workshop, then they will know for sure. So that is why we will have this crafts dwarfs workshop also benefit from this pile of stones. Let's hit G again and then enter in here. And let's do the same also for the mechanic workshop, because also mechanics do need stones. Do I have more workshops around that need stones from that pile? I don't think so. Then, what do we have in here? We have a wood stockpile. So let's do the same for the carpenters and the wood furnace. So G, give, and G, give to the wood furnace. I would also like to build a second crafts workshop. Build workshop, so it's B, then W, and then I think R for crafts, yes. In here, it can be built out of diorite, of course. And when that's built, we'll do the same for that, so that we will have only crafts made out of stone in this one, and then crafts made out of wood in the new one. Can we actually restrict? Okay, look, in this we have the third tab active, labor restrictions. So looks like in here I can say, okay, in this one only do carpentry or leatherworking, clothes making, etc, etc. So for example, if I take out carpentry, leatherworking, weaving, wood crafting, bone, and I will leave strand for a reason, and only leave stone crafting in here. This might just be exactly what we want. So whenever we order the construction of crafts made out of stone, this one will be selected. And if we go back to, oh yeah, the new one doesn't exist yet, so we will have to wait for it. But when it does, we will go there and deselect stone crafting and strand extraction from there. What else can we do in terms of optimization? We have in here a smelter, and in here a stone stockpile, and another one. Is this the one that is meant for metal ores? Let's look at the settings. Metal ores, yes. Should we name this? Yes, we should. I should get in the habit of naming at least all the major stockpiles. So this will be our ores. Let's just call it ores. Or metal ore. Metal ore. Okay. So this gives to the smelter. And this one is bars and blocks, but I will call it metal, let's say metal and coal. Can I do ampersand? Yes, metal and coal. And this will give to the forge, but also to the smelter, because the smelter needs the coal. And I mean, we can also do take. So technically I can press T and say this one takes from the wood furnace. Now this is particularly helpful when you start having more than one workshop producing the specific item that you want to go into this stockpile. But being that we only have one stockpile that accepts coal bars, this is unnecessary. We can safely remove this rule of taking from the wood furnace workshop. Now you can also set up these links between stockpiles, and this way you can have like maybe a big stockpile somewhere and then smaller ones around the fortress that take from the big one. It allows from a lot of different setups. I don't think I ever used it a lot, but it's certainly a useful feature. Now, looking at this workshop level, I'm thinking, what are we missing? Let's fill in the spaces for the other main dwarven industries. Like I'm thinking, we don't have a jeweler workshop. J is the key. Where do we want to have a jeweler workshop? I would have loved to have it in here because it's near the stone crafters, but I don't like the fact that this line of slightly darker tiles, X's, means that this whole column of tiles will be impassable, so like solid blocks, meaning that the dwarves will not be able to go through here. They will have to like enter the workshop from the back, which is not ideal. So let's put it in here. Let's have the jeweler's workshop in here. Now, what is it used for? In the jeweler workshop, you can both dwarves actually can both cut raw gems into, well, cut gems, and also encrust items with those gems. Encrusting is probably something that, if we ever attempt, because it's a bit fiddly as a process, we will do somewhere else. Because as far as I remember, there's actually no way to control which item gets encrusted. You can tell the dwarves, please use this, I don't know, emerald, but they will just take whatever is more accessible to them to encrust. And you have seen what the notion of accessible is for a dwarf. Sometimes it means let's go a couple of levels below. When you have something really applicable, like sitting next to you. So anyway, cutting gems is really nice thing to do, because you just find gems around in the stone while digging, and cutting them increases their values. So trading gems is one of them, the main businesses that you can have, that you can entertain at a dwarven fortress. So now we have that. Let me look again at the list of workshops. We could start setting up the workshops needed for a clothing industry. The clothing industry is a little bit involved. It needs, first of all, you need to produce some form of thread. Then the thread needs to go to the loom to be turned into cloth. Then the cloth can get worked on by a clothier, or a tailor, I should say, at a clothier's workshop. So it's at least 3 steps, especially if you are going to produce your thread from, let's say, plants or animals. Actually, the thread is produced at the farmer's workshop, and the farmer's workshop we have at a higher level. Let's see if I remember the hotkey. Yes, we have it in here. Should be this one, the farmer's workshop. But the loom and the clothiers we could fit in this place. There is an additional thing that can be done with both thread and cloth, or actually either thread or cloth, which is dyeing. And that requires an additional workshop, the dyer's workshop. So it would be 3 workshops all in here, and I actually have enough space for it. So let's just do it. Although that will leave no space for a leather worker. And it would be nice to have the leather worker close to the clothier, just because I mean, at least to me, it makes kind of sense. You are just making different types of garments, right? So let's do this. Let's have the clothier, which is no, C is the carpenter. Where's the clothier? It was K. Let's have the clothier in here. Let's have the leather worker in here. And then let's have the loom up here. Then, I mean, dyeing is not strictly necessary. It's nice. It increases the value of the clothes by a lot, actually, but it's not strictly necessary. So let's set up an additional row in here for more workshops with a very low priority, 7, so that eventually we will have a space for the dyer's workshop. Something else that can be done with wood, a bowyer workshop. Where is it? Here. I don't like this. I don't like when all the space is occupied like that. I know. I'm being fussy. Okay, we don't need crossbows right this moment. So let's just do the same thing we did here and have an additional workshop alcove dug in here eventually for the bowyers. Am I missing something? We have a leather worker shop, but we don't have a tanner's, which is of course needed to work raw hides into leather, but we will do that upstairs near the farms. It's not really needed. I just have to roleplay a little bit, you know, because a tanner's workshop is supposed to be extremely stinky. So it's not something you want to like be right next to, for example, while you are sewing clothes or cutting gems, you know. The butchers will be near the farms. Still we have there, the fisheries there. The ushery. The ushery is needed, but we can't do it right now. We need blocks and an empty barrel. The ushery you need for making not just wood ash, but actually lime water, I think. So actually ash and potash, if I remember correctly. And those are chemicals basically needed both for the production of soap, which is kind of important, very fiddly to set up the production of soap, but important for the dwarves' health. And also, if you want to work raw glass into clear glass, you need potash. It is also involved into pottery glazing, I think. I have never done pottery in Dwarf Fortress, but that's a whole other economy thing that you can do. Anyway, we should try and get some blocks and empty barrels. Actually, let's order a deconstruction of wooden barrels right now. Wood, make wooden barrels. I mean, we ordered the crafting of stone pots, and those are okay for storing food, but some workshops actually require wooden barrels and will not work with stone pots. And the ashery is one of those. Then again, let's see if we can make more furnaces. Now, the wood furnace, the smelter, the glass furnace, and the kiln are accessible under the furnace sub-menu. So it's B for building and E for furnace. We already have a wood furnace, we already have a smelter. Actually, we have two of each because we didn't dismantle the temporary ones up top. But we are missing a kiln. We can have a kiln right in here if we want. Or we can put it in here. Let's make a kiln. And a glass furnace I will have in here. Right. And since we are here, let's also think of expanding this other section. Lastly, before moving the screen away from here, this workshops in here will need the related resources near them. So let's set up a stockpile for leather. Let's have leather in here. We do not need a huge amount. Then let's have gems in here. Then let's have cloth. In here. Do I need more than this? Let me see. Animals, food, coins, refuse, corpses. I don't need corpses in here. Gems, bars and blocks. Leather, sheets. I think sheets are used for the production of scrolls and codexes. Ammo, finished goods, weapons, and stuff. I think that's enough. So do we already have a jeweler's? Yes, we do. And we have a gem stockpile, right? So let's name this, let's call it gems. And let's hit G for give. And this will give to the jeweler's workshop. Alright. It is taking shape. I'm noticing there's a lot of vermin